Hey everybody, welcome back. And I'll start right off with this wrench. I think I paid 10 bucks for this. I don't remember. I know I got a really good deal on it because normally I won't buy wrenches like this because I think I've got most of the ones that I need, the sizes I need. But this one caught my eye because it's an 1 3/8 and it's a Williams, so it's a really good quality wrench. And I bought this from a dealer that had some other stuff I bought. Everything he had was just kind of really cheap. You know, sometimes you just know when you walk up to a dealer, if he's got this wrench on a table with a whole bunch of other wrenches and they're all priced, you know they're going to be pretty pricey. But this was just like the only wrench he had like this. Same guy I ended up getting from him for 15 bucks, this little pile of stuff right here. Actually, now that I think of it, I think this was part of this deal. And that included this this snug for a mag base, indicator base, this little indicator attachment, this snap gauge, this Starrett 229 snap gauge, and this old Federal indicator with a, it's got one of these little hole attachments on it, and it actually still works perfectly fine even though it looks kind of dirty and rusty, on this nice snug. And I came across this for 10 bucks. This is a, I actually thought this was homemade at first, but then I looked at it more closely and I realized no, it's a GST-MS553 tool block, and I think it says A. So I'm wondering whether or not this is will fit an AXA tool post. Well, anyways, I got it for 10 bucks. Paid 5 bucks for this Brown and Sharp old DigitCal. And the reason why I only paid 5 is because this is a really old one. But these actually, in the past, I've actually had these and put new batteries in them and they worked fine. So it's quite possible that this is actually still a usable piece. And I also kind of like that it had the little depth foot there. And then this I actually initially had no interest in because I don't really get much money for these verniers, but this is a nice Starrett one in the case. Got it for 10 bucks. Picked up this nice Albrecht chuck for 25 bucks. It's a good size one and it's in excellent shape. So that was a steal. This is another one of these tap extensions. This one, the other two were marked India. This one is also marked India, so same company. A lone can't twist clamp. The guy only had one. Got it for $1. Yet another Starrett 193 back plunge style indicator. I'm sorry, 196 back plunge style indicator. Starting to have too many of these, but I couldn't pass this one up for 10 bucks because it's really clean and it works perfectly. Paid 20 for this geometric die head. I'm not particularly sure what size this uses, although it does say S5/16, so, and I do think somewhere on here there was a manufacturer's name that I saw in this. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but it does have a name on here. This is the National Acme Company, and it looks like this is a Type C. And then I found this flashlight. I got it for $1. Gonna have to see if it just needs batteries. Oh, so apparently this is rechargeable. There's a micro USB port right there. Either that or this can be a charger. I wonder which. Is this supposed to be a charging source? Nope, this is a rechargeable. That is a rechargeable cell in there. Interesting. So we'll have to see if that takes a charge. But I took a chance on it for $1 because I thought it was kind of a neat LED flashlight. It's all metal, feels like decent construction. It says Nebo on it, N-E-B-O. Not familiar with this name. So we've got an LED in the end here, you know. And then you can open this up and we've got an LED here, and then it's got a magnet here, which is kind of strong. So, beats me. I saw another dealer that I've run into in the past, and he is usually not too cheap, but he had this box of these things here, and the nearest I can figure is that these are almost like some sort of planishing irons or something, maybe. I'm thinking maybe these are supposed to be held in a block and then used as forms for forming metal. I'm not sure. So, hard to say, but they caught my eye. And then I saw there was a bunch of different sizes in here. So initially, I said, well, how much are these? And he said, well, how many, depending on how many I take. So initially, I was just going to take one of each size. But then I think he wanted $5 each for them or something like that. So in the end, we ended up agreeing on that I would just take the whole box for $25. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably keep one of each size for myself and sell the rest. And that little lathe dog, I don't know where that fell out of. That might have been in one of these other little lots. This is just a bag of washers. I don't know what those are from. There's anything else in here. So one of the other things that I got was I got another one of these hold down sets. This one is pretty complete. I got this for $10. Again, it's not the style that has the wedges, the ramp sized, the ramp style hold down. It's got this style hold down. And I got this little pile of stuff I put together right here. It's all stuff I pulled out of a rolling toolbox, and the guy let me just put this pile together and take the whole pile for $30. And what we've got is, this is actually Butterfield brand, good U.S. manufacturer. High-speed steel blanks. These are 5/16. And look, originally this was a box of 12, and it looks like there's 10 left. Got another thread pitch gauge here. It's a thread pitch gauge by Peck Tools. For those of you not familiar with Peck Tools is a manufacturer in California. It stands for Precision Engineering Company or something like that, I think. But they actually make some pretty nice stuff, and it's reasonably priced. These are 1/8 inch shank diamond mounted points, 20 piece. So I think these are little diamond burrs, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a little set of all different little bits. And here's another one, basically the same thing. Diamond grinding pin set. 1/8 inch by 1 3/4 inch shank, 20 piece set made in China. 1/8 inch by 1 3/4 inch shank, mounted 20 piece or MTD 20 piece diamond grinding pin set made in China.
China, I love them.
A little Ames indicator, works perfectly. I like these Ames indicators because they were made right here in Waltham, Massachusetts, which is only about an hour away from me.
I have to have my China.
The back is really clean. That doesn't look like that's ever been mounted. Interesting. Maybe it was held by the type of clamp that holds it here on this part. It's also a 1/2 A lot of these are only thousandths resolution, but this is 1/2 thousandths per division. And it's got the secondary dial because it does have some extra travel to it.
China.
It's just a random boring bar.
Hey, by the way, I love China.
And this Craftsman
China.
gauge set.
People say, oh, you don't like China. I like China. China.
Craftsman made some pretty nice quality machinist tools back in the day. Fortunately, the snap was stuck and it ripped the plastic. Common problem with these, but the gauges themselves are in excellent condition. They're eerily reminiscent of the Starrett version of these, so I wonder whether or not Starrett may have made these for Craftsman. And then these three auto body tools here, I knew that these weren't going to make much difference on the price, so I just had them throw these into the deal so that I could give them to my son. He's an auto body student at the Voctech school. It seems like I keep coming across dollies more than anything else, so now he's got quite a few, and it seems like keep coming up with a lot of the same shapes. These are a little bit different, which is nice. And the other thing that's nice is these older ones, they just seem to be much better quality, the steel that they're forged out of.
China!
This one actually has a number on it, PF, I don't know if that's GD5 or PFCD, I don't know. But, so there's that one, and then there's this one here. This looks more like maybe a newer one, I don't know. But he's got like some that he got from like the Harbor Freight that are just really, they almost look like they might shatter when you bang it on them. And then this thing here, which I don't even know what this is called. He would know, but this is, you can loop. It's got the clamps on the end here, and you take a strip of sandpaper and you can actually clip it to this thing and sand on long panels, I guess, or whatever.
You want to buy from China? That's great. Buy from China.
Well, that's heavy, whatever it is. I don't even remember what's in here. Oh, another one of these angle blocks. So this is a block that you loosen this screw and you can swivel this V-block to whatever angle you want to set it at, and that's kind of a handy thing. Most of the ones that I see are like this. They're kind of no-name aftermarket import ones.
I love China.
And I think maybe Brown and Sharp may have been the one who originally made one of these. I honestly don't know. I think even the one that I kept for myself is just an import.
China.
Yeah, what do we got here? This is a nice early Starrett case. I like the early Starrett graphic there. It's kind of neat. You see it on a lot of these old sets. There we go. Another Starrett vernier. Again, probably didn't pay much for this. I never pay a lot for these because even though these are beautiful tools, this thing's mint too. They just do not bring a lot of money on the secondary market. Too many people today just don't even know how to use these. This is a number 122 6-inch. That one would make a nice piece for a Starrett collector. And a Mitutoyo, just the standards, micrometer standards. This looks just like the case that normally would come inside the large case if you get like a 0 to 6 Mitutoyo set. Often this case will be inside that case, so I wonder if that originally came from that. Oh, here we go. Here's an Indicall 178. The number 178 means that this fits the 1 7/8 inch diameter spindle on a typical J-head Bridgeport, for instance, and also my Wells Index milling machine has the same standard size. It's got the instruction book in there, and it looks like all the parts are there, which is nice. So, yeah, it's a nice find. It is used. You see the scratches on it from it being on the machine, but that's a good piece. They do make aftermarket generic versions of these. There's an SPI one, and then there's just like a generic no-name import one. So these, you can get these pretty cheap now in an aftermarket one. But the Indicall ones, even though SPI Indicall ones, they tend to be a little pricier. So it's interesting that this says SPI, but SPI also has some that just say SPI on them and they don't say Indicall. If you ever find one of these and it doesn't have the original box, the way you can tell, all of the genuine Indicall ones are clearly marked. Are clearly marked like this right here. Got just some loose random parallels, but at least they are pairs. That's a matched pair, and this is a matched pair. Oh, speaking of parallels, also from the same guy, I got just this random lot of parallels he had. I ended up buying the whole lot for $5. They all appear to be just the regular generic import parallels, no namers.
China.
Actually, I just went through them right now, and pretty much a complete set. One of them's damaged, but other than that. And then one lonely thin parallel. One orphan. Got a fly cutter here. That looks like a actual factory made one for a change. I've come across a lot of the homemade ones lately. I like that finish on it. This compact size. An interesting Union Tool Company hook rule. Union Tool Company of Athol, Massachusetts, but it's got this really long hook on it. I've never seen one like that. That makes that a little bit more interesting to me. And he had some other random scales here. There's a nice little 3-inch Brown and Sharp. It's got that old-timey Brown and Sharp logo on it. That's kind of cool. This is a nice find. This tiny little scale is marked B&S Manufacturing, so it's a Brown and Sharp tempered. But the fact that it's so skinny and everything, I know that this is a blade for a Brown and Sharp, an old Brown and Sharp depth gauge. And oftentimes those gauges, you'll find them, and sometimes they'll come in the long case. They'll have the long blade in there, and they'll be missing the short one, or vice versa. So it's nice to find a blade like that, because you can usually get this for next to nothing, and then help complete a set maybe. And this is just a plain old little Starrett miniature 6-inch scale in a little plastic holder. This is nice, sort of. So this has the earmarks of being a Starrett, but there's no markings on it to indicate that it's a Starrett. And the other interesting thing about this is this appears to have been broken at some point in its life and TIG welded. So whoever owned this thing must have really loved it, because when it broke, they took the time to actually TIG weld it. And they actually did a pretty good job. It's probably works perfectly fine. Just can't imagine what Dick was doing to this thing that he snapped it. This is the dial center tester, manufactured by the Ideal Tool Company. So this is kind of a funky thing here. So I'm not positive, but I think this is supposed to be used on the lathe to actually align the tailstock with the center line of the spindle. All right, so it comes with two rods for some reason. Now, might have to try and look that up online and see if we can find any information about it, because there is no paperwork in there to indicate how that works. Speaking of blasts from the past, I've seen these before. This particular one is a Ideal. This is also an Ideal Tool Company version of the old style indicator. Come across these branded Starrett and also other brands. That one's still working fine. Surprising how well these actually still work, because they're basically designed for checking run out on things. What's particularly nice about this one is it's got the original box. And this is a little set of Starrett 117 center punches. And these are in great shape. So this is an old case. So either these have been replaced over the years, or somebody bought these, put them away, and just never used them. Because I mean, they've got some, yeah, they've been beat on the back, but the tips look great. And yes, another Starrett 196 back plunge indicator. Nice and clean. And you might think this is broken, but it's a common occurrence on these that you will find them with these little sleeves on them. And that sleeve is on there, and that keeps this from being able to be depressed. Oh, but that one is broken. Wow, geez. I've come across these where they've been sticky, but I can't remember the last time I came across one of these that actually was broken. But it's got a good crystal in it. The bezel's not all banged up, so I probably have some working movements. Rather than bother with trying to fix this up, I'll probably just steal some of the parts off of this to make another one look better. That's surprising to me that doesn't work. Alright, we're going to call this episode a wrap right here. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Hope you come back for the next and what should be the final video in this particular series. Take care.
China all the time.